Hi, beautiful people. How's it going? So, the sun entered Leo just as we're talking right now. So, how do you feel? I definitely feel a shift in energy, and it's a welcoming shift. And today, we're going to talk a bit more about the new moon in Leo. And normally, a new moon in Leo, Leo is a sign of fun, good times, warmth. It radiates like the sun. It is, of course, ruled by the sun. It is also ruled by the heart, so it's about doing the things that gives us pleasure, connecting with our inner child, just doing all the fun things in life. But there's a little catch in this one because Pluto just entered Aquarius last year, so all the new and full moons that we're about to see in Leo are actually being opposed by Pluto. And Pluto is the planet of death, rebirth, transformation, secrets, intense crisis. So yeah, it is actually the planet that is traditionally it belongs to Scorpio. So yeah, it is rather intense, this one. But either way, let's make the most of this new moon. Of course, there's also a Mercury retrograde going on in the sign of Leo, really adding another layer to all the things that are happening right now. So yeah, just welcome back to my channel. My name is Astrid. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you are already subscribed, thank you so much for being here and being part of this community. I do also want to mention that I offer personal astrology sessions. You'll find a link for that in the description box below. So yeah, Leo season. Very, very happy. And the sun in Leo will soak up the spotlight until the 22nd of August. So, yeah, it's really time to channel the inner lion and wear your boldest colors and also step into the center stage. Just show people who you are. It is about authenticity. Of course, Leo is a fixed fire sign ruled by the sun. So, it's no surprise that it is about radiance, about self expression, and also about celebrating the spark of life. So, hi, Katie Sawyer, and hi, Mame Jax, and Inge. And oh, thank you so much, Inge, for the support even before we begin this. It's Mercury retrograde. I'm gonna have to be like, calm down, just think about your words. So thank you so much, Inge, for supporting me before we even started the presentation. So yeah, that was what I was about to say. So let's dive in. Thank you all so much for the support, guys. And Katie, thank you so much. Okay, Leo. So fire sign, fixed, ruled by the sun. House association is, of course, the fifth house in traditional astrology. And it's also about, in the Northern Hemisphere, Leo season hits right at the golden height of summer. So it's about sunshine, flowers, and also the look at me energy. So yet, there is something less yeah less happy about Leo because we are gonna start to notice that the light begins to slip. So the light is slipping, which means that like each day is gonna become shorter and each night a little bit longer, but we're still basking in the glow and in the sunlight, but deep down we sense that light is very precious and that it doesn't last forever. So um yeah, ma'am Jax, thank you so much. I am feeling better. It's still not completely fixed, my jaw, and it keeps swelling from time to time. And it was swollen this afternoon, but I've put some ice on it. So I'm like, okay to do this, to, yeah, appear on screen. And that's so funny because appearing on screen, it is also part of Leo, and I have my Mars in Leo. So there you have it. But thank you so much, ma'am Jax. So here are some keywords for Leo. So Leo, it has a very big golden heart. It wants to shine brightly. It leaves such a mark. Whenever Leo enters the room, everyone like notices that. And yeah, the warmth that the Leo radiates, it will be remembered long after the curtain falls. So that's why also Leo is a sign of royalty, of fame, and also of leadership. And it's not just for the sake of attention, but also because it feels called to really embody something noble. And Leo doesn't like hog the spotlight, it uses it to really uplift, inspire, and really illuminate what's good and what's beautiful. So they really, really, yeah, resonate such a big glow and yeah, just happiness overall. But of course, every sign has its downfall, and also Leo has a shadow. So when Leo loses the plot a little bit, then it can become a bit of a diva, and it can also become very hooked on applause, and it can also become more in love with the admiration than with its mission. And when a lion, yeah, the lion needs to remember its deeper purpose, and that is when the lion really roars with a lot of grace, generosity, and it also comes straight from the heart. So let's look a bit at the chart for today. So yeah, very interesting new moon in the sign where Mercury is retrograding exactly opposite Pluto. So I'm not gonna lie, this is probably one of the most intense new moons of the entire year that we're about to see. Luckily, it's in the sign of joy, but with the opposition to Pluto, it is like no ordinary lunation. And it, of course, happens on July the 24th. I can't remember if I already mentioned that. But yeah, normally Leo brings a lot of lightheartedness, a lot of play, a lot of bold creative energy. And the new moon arrives hand in hand with the direct opposition to Pluto. So that is really a configuration that promises to reveal what's been hidden. That is Pluto. It challenges ego-driven power structures as well. And it's about authentic self-expression versus performative control. And yeah, it is arguably the most intense new moon of 2025. And Leo's domain is, of course, creativity, romantic passion. It is visibility, joy, kids, and all these themes are very, very affected, very, very hard by Pluto right now. So Pluto's archetype is, of course, transformation, control, secrecy, karmic reckoning, death and rebirth. And yeah, if people have used their power for manipulating others, then now is really the time when the truth comes to light. We saw it happening with the CEO on the Coldplay concert, which is like a very, very literal manifestation of this Mercury retrograde in Leo, accompanied by this new moon with the opposition to Pluto. That is like literal astrology, very, very mind-blowing by that. And like I also mentioned in my last video about Mercury retrograde in a sign of Leo that there would be problems with the music industry, with, of course, with it being summer and a lot of concerts and festivals are actually going on right now. And the weird thing is that the main stage of Tomorrowland burned down. So when I saw that happening, I was like, whoa, this is also a very, very literal manifestation, literally and figuratively manifestation of the Mercury retrograde in Leo. And like my heart goes out to all the people who've put like months and months of energy into that. That must be crazy to like just see it burn down in front of your eyes. And that is actually a very good example of the very intense energy that we're witnessing right here. Like, look at the main stage burning down. Look at the CEO who got exposed for the whole world. Yeah, it's like very, very, very tense and crazy energy right now. So expect truths about a lot of public figures. We can see scrutiny in the technocracy as well, because Pluto is in Aquarius, of course. But think about all type of leaders, celebrities, people who are on stage, all these people's, yeah, truth may be coming to light. And especially with Pluto and Aquarius, it's a sign of innovation. It's also the sign of a digital system, but also the sign of the collective consciousness. And the collective, like Aquarius are big groups of people. So we see an intense reaction from like the whole collective towards the truths that are being illuminated right now. And yeah, the collective is responding very, very strong to all of this energy and is actually roaring like a lion. So, but in regards to all the other big leaders, think about whistleblowers are going to come up. We're going to see leaked files with the Mercury retrograde, leadership collapses, and also crisis in reputation as well. So there can be a very big major takedown. There can be a fall from grace, and that can be in politics, but also in entertainment. All of these fields are actually emphasized, and it's very highly likely that we're going to see more of that in the next few weeks. So yeah, it isn't an average new moon. It is really making strong connections to all the major outer planets. which means it could mark a very big turning point, both personally and collectively, and it's going to bring moments of intense change or intense confrontation, especially between the individual desire, Leo, versus the wider social forces, Aquarius. So it's going to bring themes of power, control, and transformation to the surface. But luckily, it forms a harmonious trine with Saturn, Neptune, sextile to Uranus. And yeah, there's a very big, there's actually a minor grand trine being activated right now. It's going to become fully exact 2026, but again, this is a little preview of about what's to come. And it's actually a very rare and significant alignment. It's a very big cosmic checkpoint right now. Like, are your actions aligned with your passion and with what your heart desires, or are they solely fueled by dominance, pride, ego, and wanting to have the applause? So, and another thing I want to mention about this new moon is that it is an eclipse, but it really is going to tell us and gives us a lot of clues and signs about the next eclipse cycle that is going to happen in Leo and Aquarius next year in 2026. So all the actions that you take now, the decisions that you make, and all the revelations that are about to surface right now are going to have an effect into early 2026 when the new eclipse cycle is going to kick off, and that will center especially around technology, politics, social change, and also group movements, Pluto and Aquarius. So yeah, it's actually very intense. And hello, Barbie. And maybe I'm gonna display the comments on screen so you guys can follow along. And Mem Jax says, hit the like button, please. Thank you so much, Mem Jax, for putting that out there. And hey, Claudia, so happy you're here. Looking forward to your reading this week. Whoa, a lot going on in the USA. Yeah, I know it's been very tense for you guys. And yes, we're meeting on Friday, Claudia, for your solar. And I'm very happy to, and my mom is interrupting and giving me a drink. I'm so happy. Thank you, Mama. And yeah, looking very forward to doing the session with you, Claudia. We'll see each other on Friday and have a lot to talk about. So let's look a bit more at the eclipse symbol. Oh my God, this Mercury retrograde is hitting me hard. I am a Virgo rising. I don't know if you guys struggle as much with words as me. Please forgive me. We're going to look at the Sabian symbol. Okay. So, and of course, maybe I am going too fast. I had a busy day and it's noticeable. I need to calm down, but I forgot to mention the degree, of course. The degree on which this moon falls is a 2 degree. So the second degree is a Taurus degree, and it has a lot of Venusian qualities in the mix. So Taurus is about money, love, stability, banks. We might see some intense stuff happening in the banking world. And also, I know the cryptos are doing very well right now. I think we're going to see some more action in that during the full moon in Aquarius that we are about to see in 2 weeks. But whenever Mars is on the south node, which is also displayed here in the chart, like if you look back at historic cycles, it also has something to do with, banks having a little bit of trouble. So I'm curious if we hear something about that. I'm not really following that, but I should. So Taurus energy and the second degree, it creates comfort, stability, and also beauty that endures. And the second degree placement really brings all of this together with the combination of the Leo energy, of course. So we're not just looking for applause, we're trying to create some applause that is meaningful and that is also lasting. So it's not about short-term satisfaction. It's about building something that endures in all the Leos, in all the Leo qualities, whether attraction, love, romance, creative projects, children, your hobbies. So yeah, something that makes your joy sustainable and something that really comes from the heart. So yeah, Leo can sometimes be a little bit flashy, can be a little bit direct, bold, and also impulsive. But the Taurus degree really is saying like, calm down, ground yourself, and make your applause be steady and long term. So yeah, there's actually Also, Leo wants to be respected, to feel proud of what they've built. And yeah, this moon really supports things that blend or mix personal pride with a long-term value. So yeah, launch heart-led business ideas, and there can be new income streams or new ways of making money that are gonna, yeah, bring a very, very strong transformation with the opposition to Pluto. So it's not all bad, it's not all intense. For the collective, it's intense, but on a personal level, it can be very quite beautiful. And I'm gonna walk you through the 12 signs later in this video, but it's creating something with satisfaction of your heart and not just for the social validation. That is Pluto and Aquarius. Don't do it for someone else, do it for yourself. That is what the Leo new moon really says right now. So now we're going to look a bit at the Sabian symbol. And hi, Barbie, Virgo rising and Venus in Gemini. Yeah, that is great. Like, Barbie, let me know how you're doing with the Mars conjunct the South Node. I really struggled with that as a Virgo rising. Oh my God, I'm glad that's almost over. So the Sabian symbol is a woman having her hair bobbed. So it speaks about the process of individuation, and that is also very striking to Leo, because Leo is also about that, and it's about a journey toward becoming a distinct and self-defined individual. So a woman getting her hair bobbed, particularly in the early 20th century when the symbol was created, it really speaks on a break from traditional feminine roles. So the bob was once a very radical act of autonomy. So it speaks about breaking from social conformity or breaking away from family expectations, and also about embracing a new identity or a new role, especially in the face of this cultural resistance. It's a transition from the persona and your social mask to something way more authentic, Leo. So there's a vulnerability in letting someone else alter your appearance when you go to the hairdresser. And that is also pointing to trust and willingness to let go of control. Like, how applicable is the Sabian symbol for the Leo new moon opposition to Pluto? Like, astrology sometimes keeps baffling my mind. So yeah, it's about public visibility and the redefinition of the self. And it's also saying, I am no longer who I used to be. There's a big death of the old self, very, very especially applicable with Pluto here. So yeah, it speaks about a conscious act of becoming, and also, yeah, the woman really makes a choice to redefine her relationship with the world, not because she is forced to, but because she really wants to. So yeah, it's actually a reflection on the fact that identity, it is not fixed, even though Leo is a fixed sign, but it is something we consciously shape through our actions. And the haircut really becomes a very big metaphor for the radical freedom to recreate oneself. And when we do that, it carries risk, and it's about overcoming our fears with the opposition to Pluto. There can be social rejection when we do that. There can also be inner upheaval. But the symbol clearly says, I am the author of myself, and I also accept the consequences of becoming who I want to be. And even if other people don't like that, that's their problem. That's why a lot of people sometimes hate on a Leo, because they're really themselves and they don't really care what others think. And that is actually applicable for all the fire signs. That's why I love all the fellow fire signs. So in that light, this symbol is not just about appearance, but it's about the moral and spiritual responsibility of self-authorship. So the haircut, it is not superficial, it is very, very sacred in this case. It is a visible declaration that the change is real and that the self is fluid. And the self is ever in dialogue with both the world and also the soul's inner search for the truth. So yeah, it's about bold change. Leo is that as well. It's a big turning point, and we can all realize right now that this old way no longer fits me. And with the opposition to Pluto, there will be a very, very big transformation that will become visible. And it's not internal growth, it's also a statement and an outward sign of this inner empowerment. However, I do want to caution a little bit, and I've dove a little bit deeper into the shadow aspects because we do have an opposition with Pluto. So the shadow side of this symbol really warns for self-deprecation or doubt during the transition that takes place now. Like, I've noticed it with some people, and even actually, especially myself as well, that now during this Mercury retro in the sign of Leo, we might start doubting ourselves and our talents and our hobbies and the things that give us joy, and the things that might have given us joy in the past. Maybe now they're not really, it doesn't give the same satisfaction anymore. And that's okay. It is okay to stop dreaming an old dream and to start a new one. And I think a lot of people with the Mercury retrograde are really, really, confronted with that right now. And the new moon in Leo with the opposition to Pluto is definitely like underlining things about that. So if you do feel that you start doubting your actions and your own talents, just know that it's the Mercury retrograde in Leo that is confronting you. And don't worry, it is a very short, necessary recalibration point. So don't worry, don't doubt yourself too much. Just look at where the doubt comes from. Maybe it's about you're still not expressing yourself in a full, authentic way. And that is okay. We are all here learning how to better embody ourselves. So another shadow side of the Sabian symbol is also the fear of judgment for changing too drastically. And like I'm talking about a woman having her hair bobbed, but I do, however, want to manage that. I do, however, want to add that we're in a Mercury retro and it's not the best time to go cut your hair right now because you might regret that later. So wait until the Mercury retrograde is over. And there can also be a regret or a longing for how past things felt. Maybe they felt more certain. Maybe now is a bit of a chaotic, unstable time, which we all need to go through in our own ways. And there's also the temptation to seek belonging through conformity rather than authenticity. So keep that in mind. Really practice letting your truth shine self through, and also wait with an actual haircut until Mercury retrograde is over. So yeah, I'm just giving out a little warning for the more negative threats of this Sabian symbol because of Pluto, of course. A lot of people do not handle control very well. A lot of people do not handle power very, very well. And yeah, we're going to see people being exposed if they have misused their power. So yeah, that can definitely create a little bit of drama. And Leo, of course, is the sign of drama. And when someone misuses their power and gets exposed, that is going to get extra loud right now with all the things going on in Leo. So yeah, just keep that in mind. So let's continue. So yeah, maybe I talk a little bit more about the opposition. So Pluto is very, very deep stuff. It is endings, it is death, rebirth. And because it moves through Aquarius, it really plays out, the energy plays out over a collective scale, so a broader scale. There can be major changes in technology, social systems, communities, and also how we function in groups. That is the Pluto and Aquarius. So yeah, when Pluto opposes planets in Leo, there's a classic Leo-Aquarius tug of war in the sky. It's the individual self of Leo versus the pressure to fit into a community, fit into the collective, and also, yeah, fit into a group. That is Aquarius. So there can be an inner conflict or some outer drama, especially for those who live in the public eye or people who work in the fields of music, or like artists, performers, influencers, and all kind of world leaders as well. That is also Leo. So some of us, or some leaders, or some influencers, or artists, they can feel pushed to really play by someone else's rules or morals, or house, yeah, to be accepted and to feel seen and loved. And Leo loves admiration. So yeah, they can really struggle with the fear of standing out, or being seen, or being misunderstood, with the Mercury retrograde accompanying this intense aspect right now. So yeah, really you have to face your truth, your own authentic truth as well. And we also need to mention that there can be some echoes from the Mars retrograde that we saw from December until February, because then Mars had an opposition with Pluto. So yeah, definitely, if there were some fights, if there were some misunderstandings during the last Mercury retrograde, not in from Aries to Pisces, but the one before that in Sagittarius, if I remember correctly, that happened in the fall for the Northern Hemisphere in 2024. After that, Mars retrograde kicked off until the end of February. And if something really happened in regards to a group, a community, friendships can also be, then we can hear some echoes or some things that are connected to that time that are getting re-triggered right now. So yeah, Pluto really wants transformation. So yeah, it's not always easy. Change can be hard, and a lot of people have a lot of resistance to the word change. So let me just reword it to the word transformation. But yeah, shedding your skin, it is never easy when Pluto is in the mix here. So the Mercury retrograde is, of course, yeah, accompanying this new moon, and it remembers us to really hit the pause button in time. And yeah, the retrograde, it isn't here to like create upheaval during your summer holiday. It is more asking you to rethink your passions and also how you show up in the world. So think about old hobbies, old passionate projects, old ideas will be resurfacing. Maybe an ex text you, hey, at 2 a.m. at night. You might also find yourself revisiting half-finished projects. Or maybe also realizing that what you thought that you wanted might not be actually lighting your inner fire anymore, and that can be released with the Pluto opposition here. So yeah, Mercury retro in Leo, it is like a backstage director, and it's whispering in your ear, are you just playing a role to get the applause? And like tune into yourself, how does this sentence makes you feel? Because yeah, Mercury has got a flair for chaos, especially when it's retrograde. Mercury is a little bit mischievous sometimes. So also be mindful about mixed signals in romance, misunderstandings with your children. Some people can have like a very big diva moments, some tantrums as well. There can also, yeah, technology breaking down, which happens a lot with Mercury retrograde. So really don't start anything new until mid-August when Mercury goes back direct. And speak from the heart, not from the need to be right, and also not for the need to be liked or retweeted, but because you want to share it from your heart. And yeah, with Uranus just entering Gemini and Mercury rules Gemini, Mercury in Leo is definitely more shocking than usual due to Uranus' influence in the sign of Gemini. So Mercury will go all the way back and turn direct at 4 degrees of Leo. So very, very close to the degree of this new moon, very, very close towards the exact opposition to Pluto. So this new moon that we're seeing here, it will unfold over the next few weeks, and we're going to see a climax of that happening on August 11th. Luckily, on August 11th, we have a beautiful Jupiter-Venus conjunction, but we also have a kite aspect, which is going to be very, very important for the state of the world. And I'm going to talk more about that in my August astrology predictions video next week. Very, very important and rare configuration in the sky involving two malefics, Saturn and Mars. So yeah, that will be very, very major. Major revelations involving political leaders, royals, high-profile figures, Yeah, things being exposed in technology and surveillance networks and secretive networks is all Pluto and Aquarius. And there can be a lot of backlash from the collective against corruption, misuse of power, and also this performative leadership. So what can we do to really tap into the energy? So yeah, of course, Leo is the element of fire. Light a candle. Any candle is fine. Just have the orange thing burning and look and gaze into the candle. Leo rules the heart, so working with the heart chakra. Leo also rules all things, having fun, singing, dancing, moving your body through the emotional overwhelm is also very, very ideal to do here. So yeah, reconnect with the inner child, reconnect with your joy, and also watch for these ego flare-ups, watch for projection, watch for power struggles, and also take your emotions seriously, because Pluto really unearths the uncomfortable so that healing can happen, but it's never a fun process, even when it's opposing the sign of Leo. So also, you can journal about what power means to you and also how you can hold it with integrity. So the crystals for this new moon are, of course, the sunstone. Yeah, it radiates warmth, optimism, enthusiasm. It also strengthens the personal willpower. And we're going to need that now with the opposition to Pluto. And it also helps dissolving feelings of unworthiness, really encouraging you to take up space in a very unapologetic way. That definitely is necessary now with Mercury retro in Leo as well. So yeah, also focus on the solar plexus, the heart chakra. Then the peridot is known as the evening emerald. It is deeply tied to the heart chakra, and it has this idea of evolution happens through discomfort, and it helps clear you out emotional baggage, and also it's going to support you in releasing these ego-driven attachments. Then the ruby is, of course, for passion and for vitality and devotion, and it is associated with fire, and it's also associated with blood and with royalty. So ruby really helps you to lead with love and also to protect what truly matters. So with that being said, we're going to start the readings for the 12 signs. So, if you don't know what's your rising sign, you can go to astroseek.com, plug in your birth details, and the first big black line is your rising sign. In this case, it's Capricorn rising. And also, first listen to your rising sign, then you can listen for your sun sign as well. And if you want to look at it from an emotional perspective, you can listen for the moon sign as well. But I honestly believe that the rising and the sun sign are most important. So let's start with my dear fellow Aries, sun, moon, or rising. You're gonna have the new moon in Leo lighting up your 5th house of creativity, romance, joy, self-expression, hobbies. It's also a house of speculative investments. So the 5th house, it is your inner playground. So it's all about doing what sets your heart ablaze, and just because it feels good and not because it checks anyone else's boxes. You need to do it for you. Think about dancing in your kitchen, flirting with life, picking up an old guitar, or maybe rewriting all the ideas for your one-woman show. And Leo is really saying, like, permission? I've never heard of that before. So just know that there is a twist. The new moon is in a cosmic staring contest with Pluto and Aquarius, and it's sitting very, very heavily in your 11th house of friends, groups, networks, collective ideals. Your hopes, your wishes are also found in the 11th house. So your joy might actually be bumping some heads with the expectation of your friends, of your followers, of your public online, your community online, and you might feel like you have to perform to belong, or maybe that your creativity needs a message to be valid, and you need to say, nope, not this time. Pluto is really pressing your buttons to see if you'll really cave to group thinking, or if you'll cut off the old story and choose yourself first now. And it's like the woman in the Sabian symbol, bravely bobbing her hair, daring to be different in public. And let's not forget that Mercury is also retrograde in Leo, so things might feel a little bit foggy in the heart space, in romance, in attraction, and like situationships. So yeah, some of you guys might definitely bump into an ex, rediscover a hobby that maybe once made you lose track of time, and you can like get that off the shelf and like reignite some passion in that. But just know that it isn't like a launch moment. It is more like a revisit what you've loved when no one was watching moment. So yeah, this new moon, it is about rewriting the script of your joy just for you. Like no filters, no audience, no applause needed. And if you're feeling the tension between being true to your inner artist and playing nice with the crowds, that's actually good. That means that you're exactly where you need to be. And also just do it because you love it, not because it earns you a like, a share, or an applause. Just do it because it makes your heart sing, and then you know you're on the right track. So just know that a new moon in the fifth, it plants new seeds in all fifth house related themes. So yeah, be careful of obsession in love, obsession in romance, especially if it's someone from the past that you might bump into again. Maybe the universe is going to test you in how much you've grown and how much you've evolved right now. And also know that a new moon in the fifth house, it is about fertility. It is about getting pregnant. That can happen if you would like that. And also know that, yeah, that there's actually a new moon in the fifth is like the best new moon of the entire year. The fifth house is about joy and having fun. So just like have a drink, have a good time. If some friends in your friend group are acting a bit weird, you know what's going on and you know what you have to do. Don't dim your light for others, my dear Aries, and I'm sending you all of love. And hey, Stain, thank you for joining. Okay, we have Taurus, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You're going to have the new moon in Leo on July the 24th, and it's going to turn up the heat in your fourth house of home, family, inner foundations, emotions, the mother, the place where you live. And it really asks you, what does home really mean to you? Is it a place? Is it a person? Is it a feeling? You can feel the itch to move. You can have the itch to redecorate, maybe unpack some old baggage, or simply make your heart space of your home space where your heart is feel more like you, more authenticity, more authenticity in the home gets like, yeah, there's a spotlight on that right now. So yeah, unpack some old emotional baggage. Start fresh, but start from the heart. Of course, transformation with the opposition to Pluto, it rarely arrives quietly. So yeah, it's facing up. It's facing off with Pluto, and it's actually stirring a lot of power dynamics in your 10th house of career, public roles, long-term goals. People in authority, can be a boss, can be a father, can be the police, can be government. So yeah, you might feel a little bit torn between who you're expected to be out in the world and also who you need to be behind closed doors. Maybe you need to start to balance that more. And maybe a boss is making some demands when you're actually craving more downtime. Or maybe a reputation that you've outgrown is weighing a lot on your personal life. So yeah, it's a moment of reckoning with Pluto. And will you keep performing the role, or will you choose to cut your hair and start fresh like the woman in the Sabian symbol? Also know that Mercury is retrograde in Leo, also in your fourth house, and it's really whispering, slow down. Take a blanket, enjoy some space at home, declutter everything at home, and also it is a chance to really rethink your emotional blueprint. Think about old family stories. They can resurface to be something needs to be healed in that. Childhood memories can come back up in your mind, and also past dynamics with roommates, with partner, with people you live with together are asking to be lovingly rewritten during this time. So yeah, some of you might reconnect with a parent you haven't seen for a while. Some of you are going to revisit your old family home, or finally get clear on what kind of foundation that you want for your future home. So finances are tied to property or family. These things might also need a second look. And let this new moon be your inner renovation project. You're not just rearranging the furniture, you're actually reclaiming your own space inside and out. And also know that you don't need the world's approval to come home to yourself. Only you can claim the courage to do it. So, good luck, my dear Taurus. We have Gemini, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You're going to have a new moon in Leo happening on July the 24th, and it will put a spotlight in your third house. So that is your natural playground of communication, ideas, the mind, speaking, writing, your neighbors, your immediate environment, and also clever comebacks because it rules the mind. And your cosmic ruler, Mercury, is retrograding here too. So it's not all fast talking and mic drops. It's actually less is more, and it's also about it's less launch mode, and it's more you're being asked to go back into the editor's room. Reimagine how you speak, reimagine how you write, how you teach, how you connect, and do it with depth from the heart and maybe a bit of red ink to underline some things right now. You might feel a little bit more bold in communication, not gonna lie. You might also be revising an old blog or an old book or something that you've written before. You can also be replaying a conversation from 2 years ago over in your head and in your mind. And you can also be suddenly inspired to message your sibling that you haven't heard from in a while. And also know that plans might shift. Rescheduling appointments, your technology might glitch as well with the Mercury retrograde here. And also know that some messages or emails could also get a bit lost in translation or lost in the cloud, but it's really pushing you to slow down and also find your truest voice. So this is actually a rewiring, not a setback. And of course, Pluto is opposing this new moon in your ninth house of beliefs, philosophy, religion, the bigger picture truths in life. And it's actually asking you, are all your ideas, are all of these your ideas, or are the ones that you're thinking about, are they like inherited? So it's about your belief system. And like, let me reword that. Like, are these your ideas, or are these just ideas that you've inherited from other people? So you might also bump into an old teacher, an institution, a college. You might finish a writing project. You might publish something. If you want to have a book deal, that is awesome as well. If you want to launch something through an email, through a blog, some online announcements, that is also very good to do here. And also know that the conversations that also happens in the third house could become very, very deep with the opposition to Pluto. Can become a little bit uncomfortable, but they're here to actually free your mind. Ninth house, belief systems, where Pluto is right now. So it's about freeing your mind, not trapping it. And also know that Mercury retrograde, is your cosmic editor, and it's asking you to like refine, revise, and also resist the urge to hit the send button too fast. If you want to sign contracts, hold on. If you want to buy new technology like a phone or a computer, not yet. Wait until middle of August. But journaling, brainstorming, and also reworking your message or your brand voice, that is a big yes. So something is shifting in the way how you think, and soon it will come out crystal clear. You can have some important insights on the 31st of July when we will see Mercury Sun Cazimi. So if you have an important idea that comes through on the last day of this month, write it down. You can like really change something big with that. So wishing you the best of luck, my dear Gemini. And hi, Rita. And hi, Laura. We have Cancer, sun, moon, or rising, you're gonna have a new moon in Leo activating your second house of money, self-worth, possessions, your streams of income, and all the things that make you feel safe, solid, and secure. That goes from your bank balance to your belief in yourself. And the moon is, of course, your chart ruler. So new moons, they always hit you deeper than most. And this one, it got a very, very bold Leo flavor. So think about confidence, glowing, center stage energy. And it says that I know what I'm worth and I'm not afraid to claim it. Whether you're raising your rates, renegotiating your worth, or finally believing in your own value, this is actually your green light to start fresh. But just know this is astrology, and there's a plot twist. The new moon is making a direct opposition to Pluto and Aquarius, and it does that from your 8th house, very deep and dense house. It's about shared resources, intimacy, depth, and also the messy entanglements that come with deep ties to others. So psychologically, financially, emotionally, sexually, is all found in the 8th house. Connections to others, so very deep ties, soul bonding is found in the 8th. So yeah, maybe you're trying to affirm your independence. Something or someone might be trying to pull you back into old emotional contracts. Can be an ex, can be an old financial entanglement. It can also just be an internal outdated script inside that whispers you don't deserve that. So Pluto really has a way of exposing fears around survival, around self-sabotage, especially if your sense of worth has been tangled up in what someone else once gave you or is now trying to withhold. So be careful about power games, power struggles in regards to finances that are affecting your self-worth. Also know that Mercury is retrograde, also in your second house of money, asking you to really revisit the fine print of your own story and how you value yourself. Are you charging too little in your business? Are you saying too much yes to things that actually drain you? Do you hold on to these outdated beliefs that money is bad or that confidence is selfish? Then you might be sorting through all these past money matters. Think about your pricing, think about self-esteem wobbles coming up, but it's actually all helping you to rewrite the script. And like the woman in the Sabian symbol, this is actually your haircut moment. It's a symbolic shedding of other people's expectation, and actually a declaration that you're choosing to define your worth on your own terms. So let this new moon be the start of a new financial and emotional foundation, not built on fear, but built on a lot of fire and self-confidence, and let it shine. So just know that you don't need permission to value yourself. You just need the courage to claim what's already yours. So good luck, my dear Cancer. Now we have the stars of the show. What's up, Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising? This is your cosmic reset. So you're going to have a new moon in your sign on July the 24th. And of course, it's happening in your first house of identity, your presence, your personal power. It is actually your royal domain. So with both the sun and the moon aligning in your sign, with a Mercury retrograde, this is actually your cosmic birthday candle moment. So happy birthday to all my dear Leos. And know that the universe is actually asking you, what do you want to be next? And not just on the outside, although you guys look very, very good on the outside with the curls and the wavy hair, and like Leos have so much hair. I'm always like a little bit jealous of that. They have such a thick hair. Like I always spot a Leo and I know when I see one. It's so funny. So yeah, we're actually talking not only on the outside, but actually a full-blown soul glow up. And it's actually your chance to hit a refresh button on all your goals, on your style, on your mindset, and also how you walk into the room. And let's be honest, center stage is really calling, my dear darling, and we all notice you whenever you enter the room, and I love it. But don't be surprised that your transformation is going to ruffle a few feathers, because the new moon is directly opposing Pluto in Aquarius, and it's brewing a lot of intensity in your 7th house. It's about relationships, marriage, very close personal one-on-one dynamics. So the translation of all of this is that not everyone is going to be very, very thrilled about your evolution or your cosmic soul glow up. That can be a partner, can even be a close friend. There can also be a collaborator that might project a lot of fear and jealousy onto you, or like cling to the old you as you step into your power. And people are going to try to keep you small. And if you notice that in people, just know that you might need to let them go, especially with Mercury retrograde in your sign as well. So Pluto really, it provokes and it pokes control issues. So it's going to illuminate hidden power plays, emotional contracts that might try to keep you small, and it might also bring up an old tug of war. If I grow, will you still love me? And the answer, only if the connection can grow too. So that is going to become painfully obvious right now. So just know that this is your bob cut moment. Just like the moment in the Sabian symbol, you're actually choosing very bold new self-definition, even if it shocks the crowds. Like, don't worry about that. They're already used. They're already used to that from you, Leo. So meanwhile, there's also this Mercury retrograde in your sign, and it's actually, this really marks a time of a very big inner script rewriting. So yeah, you might question everything a bit more. You might doubt your own talents. You might question your brand, your beliefs, even your favorite selfie angle. Like all of these things, all of these Leo things are going to come up, and it's okay. You're not meant to have it all figured out just yet. That is where the Mercury retrograde comes in and is going to help you with. And instead of rushing forward, really pause and reflect on which parts of you are truly you and which are borrowed for approval out of fear or for expectation, for like applause from others. The good news is that you're actually supported by the trines of Saturn and Saturn and Neptune are in your 9th house. And yeah, they're really encouraging you to anchor your personal growth in a lot of wisdom that can come through a new study or a bigger spiritual vision that comes forth from like gaining new knowledge right now. And it's also sextiling Uranus in your 11th house. That is about your community, your friends, and even random, maybe not random, but even internet allies that might surprise you with new clarity and are going to encourage you as well. So the new moon, you're not waiting to be chosen, you're actually choosing yourself. And also know that the crown fits when you stop shrinking for the room. So put it on, wear it boldly, and let the crowd adjust. So good luck, my dear Leo. We have Virgo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You are going to have the new moon happening in a sign of Leo on July the 24th in your 12th house. So yeah, the 12th house is a very soft house. It is about the unseen realms. It is about your dreams, healing, solitude, and also the subconscious and where the soul whispers things through. So very mystical house, the 12th house. And it is not a new moon that is going to beg for resolutions and grand declarations. It is more of a quiet, withdrawal, a sacred pause before your solar return is going to kick in next month. So the universe is actually inviting you to unplug, to release, and also to exhale. And Leo brings a lot of warmth even into the shadows of your subconscious. So don't be surprised if like old artistic urges are going to come back up, or maybe some long lost loves, or maybe a mystical craving that is stirring something very, very deep inside, that is really nudging you to heal as well. The 12th house is about rest, recuperation, and also know that it's actually a cosmic invitation to reflect and also to remember who you are underneath it all. And retreating doesn't come very easy when Pluto is in Aquarius, and it's actually dialing up the intensity in your 6th house of work, routines, health, your service towards others. So yeah, it forms a tense opposition to Pluto, creating a very big push-pull dynamic between your inner world, the 12th house, and the outer pressure to stay on and be productive, the 6th house. So you might suddenly see how overworking and people-pleasing behavior are actually pushing through, can lead to a burnout, and how that has left you well dry right now, especially with the Mars conjunct the South Node right now. Like, let me know how you guys are dealing with that. Did some old anger or frustration bubble up? For me, it was an infection here in when I visited the dentist. So yeah, I needed to like really retreat and rest a lot, and I had to let go of control and just sleep a lot. So I'm happy that it's better now, but let me know how you guys have navigated this aspect. And just know that the opposition to Pluto wants transformation, and it's going to show up through maybe a crash, maybe a confrontation, or maybe a quiet unraveling of all these old habits that no longer serve your well-being. Like the last few weeks, I really was confronted with how taking care of others too much really burnt me out. Sometimes I'm working until late at night, and sometimes I have no time for fun anymore. And when I had time for fun, the last few weeks, I was in my bed with an infection on my jawbone. And I was like, oh my God, like, I know as a Virgo rising, we have Capricorn on the cusp of our 5th house. Sometimes for a Virgo rising, the fun can be working, but we need to take better care of ourselves now with the Mars conjunct the South Node. So yeah, just like cut away the outdated image of who you thought you had to be and allow something more simpler, something more softer and truer and more authentic to emerge with this Leo new moon. There's to actually deepen the call inwards. Your ruler Mercury is also retrograde in Leo in your 12th house. So it's a very, very big soul cleansing energy. Today I actually had a soul cleansing with my medium today, and she like rewired a lot of things in my head. She worked especially on the head and my jaw, and I felt such a big weight falling off my shoulders. So it's actually very it's a very good time to visit people who can guide you. That can be a medium, can be hypnosis, can be soul retrieval. All these things also are very, very particularly enhanced in the 12th house. So expect the dreams, expect the deja vus. There can also be some waves of nostalgia coming up. So you're going to revisit old spiritual paths, recovering forgotten creative callings, or maybe simply craving more silence. And yeah, just let your mind wander. Take some time to let your mind wander. Don't rush into clarity. Just trust that it's unfolding in its own time. Write it out, rest it off, and feel it through. That is very, very important. It's actually not a moment to be productive. It is a moment to be fully present. And in that stillness, something truly powerful is gonna start to rise. And sometimes the biggest transformations does not come from striving, but it comes from surrendering to what your soul has quietly known all along. So take good care of your health, guys. And wish you the best of luck, my dear Virgo. And Barbie, I forgot your rising sign. I'm quickly gonna scroll back here because I know you've just mentioned it. Virgo rising and Venus in Gemini. Yeah, of course. Sorry. But I have a dental infection too. Oh my God, that is so strange, Barbie. That you are like struggling with the same things as a Virgo rising. Yeah, they like sedated me multiple times because the dentist had no patience until the sedation kicked in, and then the flesh above my teeth started infecting, then an ear infection, then a jawbone infection. I was like, oh my God. Like, I was so careful up front with the Mars conjunct the South Node, but the planets do what they want to do, even if you know it up front. So I'm wishing you good luck with your infection too, Barbie. So then we have Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You're going to have the new moon in Leo. That's going to happen on July the 24th, and it's going to shine very, very bright in your 11th house of friendships, communities, long-term dreams, wishes, allies, friend groups, community groups, groups at work are all part of the 11th house. And for you, it can be like a wish upon a star kind of moment, because this lunation really invites you to envision your future and the people that you want to share it with. Maybe you're dreaming about a new group project. Maybe you're hoping to attract more like-minded collaborators. Maybe you're redefining what it means to truly belong within a group. And this is actually your cue to gather, to build, and to lead from the heart within groups. But also to ask yourself, is this vision truly mine, or am I shaping it to please the crowd or to please my friend group? Don't be afraid to just do what you want to do. And excuse me, there's a big opposition to Pluto here. It's whispering from the across of your chart, and Aquarius in the 5th of creativity, romance, joy. So yeah, the opposition between this intense planet and the Leo new moon can really stir up a battle between all these group expectations versus your personal passions, and how you want to experience fun, and how you express yourself, and how you maybe want to put more emphasis on your own creativity versus being accepted within a group. There's a tug of war between that. So maybe if you create some things, that can be misunderstood by other people, or maybe some kind of friendship is dimming your spark a little bit. Perhaps you're craving a romantic moment while feeling a little bit stretched thin by all these social duties. Pluto really pushes you to dig deep here, and it's saying, are you giving your power away to be accepted? And think about the Sabian symbol that we just went through, this woman cutting her hair into a bold bob. So it's actually your chance to really reshape your image within the group on your own terms. And yeah, if you get some backlash from certain groups about your evolving identity, it might be time to look at other groups. Or maybe some old groups that you used to belong to with the Mercury retrograde going through Leo as well. Because yeah, it's actually sending mixed signals in your social sphere here with Mercury accompanying that as well. And you can notice that old friends are going to reappear. Some group chats on your phone could go a little bit sideways. Or actually a collective goal might need some rethinking right now. So it's actually time to refine your vision. Take inventory of take the inventory of people who is truly aligned with your future right now. Just know that you don't need to disappear within groups. Just step back enough to hear your own voice in all of the noise within the groups. So let your goals evolve, let your community shift. This new moon really asks you to stop performing for applause and to start collaborating from your inner truth. And also know that real belonging actually begins when you bring your whole unfiltered selves to the social circles in life. So good luck, my dear Libra. We have Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You are going to have the new moon in Leo happening on the July the 24th, and it's going to blaze through your 10th house of career, public image, legacy, people in authority. This is like not a subtle nudge. It is actually a very big spotlight moment, because if you've been craving some promotion, or if you have been having your eye on a promotion, if you want to rebrand your public presence, or maybe planning a bold leap into a new direction in life, then the universe is actually handing you the mic right now. Be careful, because whatever you're going to say into that mic is going to be very, very publicly known. Everyone is going to see it. Whenever it happens at the top of the chart, it's very, very out there for everyone to see. So speak some kindness through the mic and don't get your angle up the mic, because otherwise it can really backlash, because the new moon is making an opposition with your chart ruler Pluto. So yeah, it can be a very, very intense moment in regards to the public for you guys right now. So yeah, Leo on the midheaven, it doesn't ask you to whisper your ambition. It wants you to really own your leadership and to radiate confidence for the whole world to see, even if you're sweating a little bit under the flashy spotlights. So yeah, this lunation is actually your chance to ask, what legacy am I building right now? And do I have the guts to be seen doing it my way? But of course, yeah, you never evolve without intensity. And that is like, yeah, you were born to do that, my dear Scorpio, because Pluto retrograde in Aquarius is your modern day ruler. It is stirring up some deep stuff in the fourth house of home, roots, emotional security. It really creates, yeah, a tug of war between your career and who you are at home. So it's between ambition and vulnerability, between the self you're trying to build and also the foundation that it really rests upon. So it's about family dynamics, private insecurities, or these ancestral patterns that might resurface now, like especially if you're trying to climb the ladder. And if the ladder feels a little bit shaky, that's normal right now. But yeah, it's your moment to cut the emotional ties with the outdated versions of who you had to be at home, so that you can actually rise with integrity in the public eye, 10th house. So, and if all of that wasn't like intense enough, Mercury is also retrograde in Leo, also in your 10th house, and it's really urging a very big reassessment of your strategy and your goals. So public messaging might have the need to be reworked. Some public projects could stall. Some promotion could be stalled as well until Mercury turns back direct by the middle of August. And also know that some leadership roles might actually come with some confusing power plays behind the scenes, behind the scenes at home, and that has an influence on your reputation, 10th house. So yeah, there can be or vice versa. Something that happens in the public front can play out as a power struggle at home. So yeah, there's this dynamic that is a little bit difficult right now, but all of it is actually pushing you to get clear, to get you really clear on what success truly means to you. And the retrograde, it isn't blocking your progress, it is actually refining your vision. So when the lights do come up, when the spotlights do go on, that you're not just performing, that you're actually embodying your true purpose. So let this lunation be your backstage transformation. Cut what no longer fits, rewrite the role that you're playing in the outside world, and when you are ready to emerge, do it as the version of yourself that no one saw coming before. And also know that power, it isn't about control, dear Scorpio, it is about alignment. So own it. I know you can do that. So good luck, my dear Scorpio. We have Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You're going to have a new moon in Leo happening on July the 24th, and it's lighting up your 9th house. So yeah, the 9th house traditionally belongs to Sagittarius, so it's actually an energy that you are very, very familiar with. The 9th house is wisdom, travel, higher education, publishing, belief systems, spiritual adventure as well, long distance travel. And with Leo, fellow fire sign, it's actually making a trine towards you, so very, very powerful. It's actually igniting, a very, very big fire trine for my dear Sagittarius, especially the early Sagittarius, because it's trining Saturn and Neptune, and so it's trining your placements in the early degrees of Sagittarius. So very, very big fire trine. So yeah, a grand fire trine. So lunation is actually practically shouting, go big, dream loud, and aim higher. So maybe you're gonna book a trip that is gonna alter your soul. Maybe you're gonna dive into a whole new philosophy. Maybe you're going to share your truth with the world, or maybe you're going to return to a long-held dream. And the universe is really handing you a very golden megaphone and a boarding pass with that. So just know, don't go too fast, my dear philosopher, because it isn't just about wanderlust and all of these TED talks that can really like change your vision and your mindset and your belief system. The new moon is in a direct opposition with Pluto and Aquarius, and it's gonna stir up some things in your third house of communication, the mindset, immediate surroundings. So yeah, your bold ideas might hit some resistance, maybe from your own inner critic, maybe from a sibling, maybe from a neighbor, or maybe just from a world that isn't ready for your next big leap just yet. Pluto reveals the mental shadows that you didn't know that were there. There can be buried fears, can be control dynamics, can also be these toxic thought loops that actually keep you playing small. And if you've been second guessing your voice, now is really the time to really snip those doubts and cut them at the root. Like the woman at the Sabian Symbol who actually bobs her hair as an act of defiant self-reinvention. So, and to deepen the reflection that's going on, Mercury is also retrograde in Leo, also in your ninth house, really pressing the pause button on your wildest plans so that you can actually revisit old truths and update your inner map. So think about belief systems that you've outgrown. It's time to rewrite them, and Mercury is giving you the chance to do that. So you use this time wisely. And can be about unfinished manuscripts or dropped course or courses or study. Maybe some of them deserve a second look. And retrogrades, they are about going inward, not to stop your journey in the ninth house, but to actually realign with it and realign with who you're becoming. And also know that this lunation, it is your call to seek the truth, not just out there, but in here. And your next chapter really starts when you stop doubting your wisdom and actually start walking your talk. So good luck, my dear Sag. And Ma'am Jack says, this sounds promising for someone I know. Well, I'm very, very glad because, yeah, this is actually a pretty good new moon for the Sagittarius, actually for all the fire signs, of course. And hi, Arno, driving to work. Peace and love, everyone. Well, good luck, Arno, at work. I am sending you a lot of courage. Okay, we have Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You are going to have the new moon in Leo happening on the 24th of July, and it's going to spotlight your 8th house of shared resources, intimacy, transformation, and also the deep emotional undercurrents that you don't always show to the world. The 8th house is very, very deep, very occult, very mystical. So yeah, it's not a surface level reset, it's actually a soul level one. And you're being asked to really dig into the tough stuff. It can be financial entanglements, trust issues, power dynamics, even karmic ties, can even be grief. Emotional, financial, sexual, financial, psychological entanglements that you need to re-look at. So it can be about renegotiating a shared budget, can be about facing your fears around dependence, can also simply be about being honest about what you need emotionally and materially. So this lunation really invites you to radical clarity and also to fierce self-respect. And know that there's a lot of tension here for you guys because the new moon makes an opposition to Pluto and Aquarius, really stirring the pot in your second house of income, so your own income, self-worth, and personal resources. So the second house is where you work for your own money. The 8th house is what you share with who you want to and what you get from other people. So money that you don't need to work for or money that others don't need to work for, and or vice versa. I don't know if that sounds logic, but it's Mercury retrograde. So, and also know that you're going to feel pulled between holding on to control and surrendering to change in these areas. And someone could actually challenge your value. Maybe you're the one realizing that a situation where you've actually shared very deeply, financially, emotionally, energetically, sexually, isn't just sustainable anymore. So Pluto really pushes you to confront scarcity thoughts and thinking and power struggles, and ask yourself instead, like, what do I truly rely on? And am I still defining my worth by what others give or take from me? And like the woman in the Sabian symbol cutting her hair, this is actually a moment of bold release and self definition. And not for the aesthetic, but for the freedom of it. And as if that weren't enough already, Mercury is also retrograding in Leo, also urging you to review financial contracts, emotional bonds, and anything tied to these shared assets or joint finances. There could also be loose ends around taxes, inheritances, joint investments, or just that lingering conversation about who really owns what. How many times do I do the dishes? How many times does my wife do the dishes, or my husband does the dishes? And like rebalancing that. It can be very, very simple. It can be about doing the dishes, but you can feel like, I'm doing the dishes too much. I would like to have my husband or wife to help me out more, because she's only taking and I'm only giving. And like it's this dynamic that gets triggered here. And it can be simply about the dishes. Just know that there's a very, very big layer beneath the whole dishes thing. It goes way deeper than that. And that is what the eighth house is about. So also, no, don't rush to sign any paperwork in regard to joint finances, mortgages, inheritance, taxes, or do not finalize any deals until Mercury goes retrograde into the middle of August. Instead, use this time to really ask the hard, deep questions and revise any agreements that actually feel one-sided or feel outdated. Big things are ending for you here, Capricorn. So luckily, you're doing it with support from trines to Saturn and Neptune in the fourth, and yeah, it's gonna offer some emotional stability and intuitive grounding, and also the strength to draw upon and to build smarter foundations. So yeah, you need to make wise strategic moves, and not out of fear, but out of deeper inner alignment. And it's not about holding on. It is actually about choosing what's worth keeping right now. So when you release all baggage, you make space for more real, authentic power to emerge. The kind that actually comes from knowing exactly what you're made of. So that was a confirmation, I guess. My thingy almost dropped it. So yeah, don't spill the beans just yet. Take some time to revise everything. And Arno, thank you so much, Arno, for the support and for the super sticker. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you. So good luck, Capricorn. We have Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You're gonna have a new moon in Leo happening on July the 24th, and it's gonna shine a spotlight right across from you. It's in your opposite sign, and it's gonna land in your seventh house of partnerships, commitments, and your one-on-one dynamics. So it is your annual relationship reset button. It's a chance to actually reimagine how you connect, how you collaborate, how you co-create, whether that's in love, in business, and creative bonds, because it's in the sign of Leo. So yeah, this lunation is asking you, what kind of relationships do you truly want to invest in? And more importantly, do they reflect who I am becoming? Or are they reflecting who I used to be? So that's where it gets a bit spicy, because the new moon is opposing Pluto directly in your first house, the part of the chart that actually rules your identity, autonomy, and your personal power. So you are undergoing a very deep metamorphosis. And the people around you are really feeling it. So some may support your glow up, others are going to resist it, and a few could project their own power struggles onto you. So Pluto pressure is really asking you to shed old skin, and especially in the ones that you wore to keep the peace. And like the woman in the Sabian symbol, bobbing her hair, this is your symbolic makeover, especially in relationships and especially in marriage. And it can be a bold act of self-definition that might not please everyone, but sets you free. So to make things even more introspective, Mercury is also retrograde in Leo, right alongside this new moon, stirring the past up into your 7th house. Think about exes. Think about old collaborators, or some unresolved relationship patterns might resurface during this time. So it's giving you a chance to revisit old conversations with fresh eyes. You might need to renegotiate a contract, can be a marriage contract, can pause a commitment, or maybe you need to reframe your role in your own partnership. Like, don't dominate the other right now because it's going to backlash. Use your power in a very, very wise way. If you have not been using your power in the right way with Pluto in your sign, then you're gonna get called out by other people during this time. So think for yourself if other people, if they are projecting onto you or if they are actually confronting you with your own shadow side. With Pluto in Aquarius, a lot depends in your sign, a lot depends on your own personal chart. But yeah, listen more than you speak. Choose clarity over performance. Don't rush to label or lock anything in, especially not in relationships right now. It's about how much of yourself you're willing to bring to the table too. So the more you show up as the real you, and the more your relationships will transform to meet you there as well. So let authenticity be your compass and let the rest fall away. So good luck, my dear Aquarius. And Stain, of course, is Aquarius and he's riding the waves. And yes, Stain, you have so much interesting stuff going on in your chart. Yeah, let me know how you're doing with that. And in 2 weeks, there's a full moon in Aquarius. That's going to be a feisty one because a lot is going to happen during the time of the full moon in Aquarius. So buckle up, Stain. Then we have the last one for today. That is my dear Pisces, Sun, Moon, or Rising. How's it going, Pisces? You're going to have the new moon happening in Leo on July the 24th, and it's going to happen in your 6th house of your daily routine, your 9-to-5 job, your wellness, your work habits, your service towards others. And it's really inviting you to restructure your days with more intention, with more joy, and with more self-honoring yourself. Mercury retrograde. So Leo here really says to make your routine beautiful, not just efficient. And maybe it's time for a cleanup and a glow up, whether that means upgrading your sleep schedule. Maybe you need to refresh your workspace. Maybe you need to turn meal prep into an art form, or have fun with prepping meals and prepping some healthier meals. But yeah, don't rush all of it, because Mercury is also going retrograde and it's actually spinning backwards through this house as well. So it's more about revising than reinventing. So think about the past. Were there some routines, something that added up to your health and your wellness, that you've maybe put on a shelf? Maybe you need to dust it off and re-implement it into your life right now. Pause, reflect, tweak what's not working now, and look at what has been working before. That can be the answer to some stress that is found in your daily routine in the 6th house right now. So yeah. And the deeper invitation here, it comes, of course, from Pluto opposing this new moon, and Pluto is in your 12th house. And the 12th house is a very mystical house. It's the subconscious. It is retreat, withdrawal, solitude. It can also be about hidden wounds. And of course, you are very familiar with 12th house energy because traditionally it belongs to Pisces. And having Pluto there can stir up a lot of subconscious problems or a lot of subconscious hidden wounds. With Pluto there, you have the power, or people who are very, very spiritual have the power to rewire the subconscious. So maybe you can do soul retrieval, hypnosis, going to a medium, drawing some tarot cards for yourself. That can really help you out during this moon. It's also about balancing your mental health with your physical health, with the 12th and the 6th house affected. So yeah. Pluto in the 12th, it's gonna stir up some unseen patterns, things that you've hid from yourself. It can be beliefs, can be fears, can be emotional baggage that actually quietly sabotages your own progress. The 12th house is self-undoing behavior. So maybe it's your own inner critic that won't quit. Maybe you're gonna need to fire them during this time. So maybe there's an invisible burnout from always being on. The 6th house is the house of productivity, and the 6th, 12th house axis really asks you, what am I doing every day that drains me without me noticing? 12th house can be hidden from ourselves. And Pluto really pulls you into your shadow, not to scare you, but to actually help you reclaim your inner power. And like the woman in the Sabian symbol, cutting her hair to mark a new chapter, this is actually your cue to let go of habits, some jobs, maybe some internal narratives that no longer reflect the person that you're becoming. And if you're looking for a new job, with Mercury retrograde, there can be an old job from the past that pops back up, or there can be a new seed being planted because, of course, it's a new moon. But with the Mercury retrograde, I would wait to change my job until the middle of August. So maybe best the end of August for you guys. Mercury retro has shadow side, and its shadow side stops at the 23rd of August, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah. Guide your, refine your workflows, revisit old wellness plans, or you can also journal through the fog. The 6th house is also the house of stress. Maybe you can plant a new seed and how you manage or deal with that. And your body might actually be trying to tell you something that your mind has been avoiding. So listen very gently to this. And also know that this new moon, it is not about perfection, it is about purification. It would be wise to detox, especially with the Mercury retrograde. And also, you actually deserve a daily life that honors your magic and not one that quietly erodes it. And actually start by treating yourself like someone worth to care for. And when you do that, watch everything else shift with that. So, yeah, good luck, my dear Pisces. So remember that this new moon, it's not about perfection, it is about passion. Set intentions that actually light you up, not ones that box you in. Can be about a new love with Leo, can be about launching a bold idea, wait until Mercury retrograde is over. Can also simply be about choosing your joy and owning that. And yeah, you were actually born to take up space. So let this new moon in Leo really remind you that your light isn't too much. It's actually the medicine that the world needs right now. So stay radiant, stay real. And yeah, I'm going to see you next time. Keep shining like the star that you are. And the next video that I'm going to do is probably going to be Uranus in Gemini for the 12 signs. It's only 3 weeks late, but life happens and Mercury retrograde happens. So yeah, I'm probably going to put that out on Friday or Sunday. And then after that, I'm going to post my August predictions for the collective and the 12 signs. And August is going to be pretty significant with a Mars-Saturn opposition. The two malefics are going to meet. So yeah, that is something to be a little bit mindful about. But I'm going to talk more about that soon. So thank you all so much for joining. If you're still here, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.